we kind of do a lot of stuff off the cuff here. There seems to be so much to talk about where Meghan and Harry is concerned. We've decided to continue talking about it, haven't we? Stacey, what came up quite a bit within their interview was about mental health, wasn't it? They did talk a lot about how they felt things here were affecting their mental health.
Yeah, I think I thought it was shocking to hear that Meghan had suicidal thoughts and really was reaching out for help and just didn't get the help that she needed and wasn't offered it and was, you know, almost told it would embarrass the institution. And I think sometimes we desensitise anyone in the public eye. We almost dehumanise them and pretend they're just fodder for our entertainment. And whilst, you know, she's being spoken about, written about, you know, the relationship which she had with her family, with Harry's family, all of those things happening would have had a massive impact on her mental health. And I just sometimes wish that we didn't see people in the public eye as so far removed. And I think, yeah, I think that sort of we can sit there and write about people. Even on this show, we can sit here and talk about people and their experience and what they're going through. But actually, we're not considering that we're talking about a human being who's going to hear it, who's going to read it, who's going to be impacted by it. And, yeah, I just find it shocking. I think we really need to turn that around somehow and reinstate that every single person we ever talk about in the public eye or say something about is still a human.
I mean, this is something that Harry's spoken about a lot, isn't it, Jane, regarding his own mental health?
Yeah, I think I mean, that was a very shocking part of the interview for me, that she had contemplated suicide. And I think she obviously spoke to Harry about it, and that would be a massive trigger for him because of, you know, his mum and her mental health and all of the, you know, which is very well documented. And, I mean, Harry himself has had therapy. So I find it weird that she would have... I don't know whether there was an issue there that she went to HR and said, I need therapy. And they said, well, look, because the way that the institution, if you like, works is that the royals themselves are called the principals, and then the people that actually work for the institution are the employees. So I don't know whether, again, there was a miscommunication and they said, well, look, you know, you're not an employee, so it's not something we can fund. I mean, would it be embarrassing? Because A, would anybody know? And as I say, Harry's had therapy. William and Harry together launched Heads Together, advocating that people would seek therapy. So again, that was strange.
I wonder if, because she does talk a lot about this she feels very let down that she wasn't protected. And I suppose if you are feeling that everything you do can be watched and can be reported, maybe she felt that the only way to reach out for help was via the palace, so that... I mean, imagine, you go to a therapist and you're talking about your innermost feelings and the thought that that could possibly get out. You can imagine how you could get very paranoid in that situation. I think it's a shame that that Oprah didn't ask her about her father and her family, because I think what that poor woman went through with her family coming out, and maybe I'm remembering it wrong, but it seemed almost daily that they were saying the most terrible things about her, and that impact on your mental health would be serious, I'd imagine.
And would put a lot of other stuff into context.
You've left the job you love. You're not with your mum. The other side of your family is hammering away at you. I can completely understand why she might have felt paranoid to ask anybody for help.
The thing that also
very shocking.
The whole thing with Kate Middleton, which at the time made the papers, that Meghan had made Kate cry, something to do with the bridesmaid's dress. And when she talked about that, I understood why she wanted to put her version of events out there. And, you know, she says that Kate Middleton sent her flowers and a card of apology. And it looks as though, from that interpretation, that somebody at the palace protected Kate by putting out a version of events that was against Meghan.
Imagine how galling that would be.
Exactly. If you're new to it and you're suddenly thinking, well, where's all this briefing coming from?
And so you've got your family on one side just barraging with all this hate. The sister's just unbelievable. And then you've got this feeling that, well, she says I've got the note, you know, that a complete mistruth is told. I mean, it must have been very daunting. And for her to, like you say, I think that was the biggest bombshell actually, was that she said she was suicidal.
Well, we did a poll online, which quite a few of you have gotten involved in, and we asked if this has changed the way that you view the royal family, and 20% of you have said yes. I mean, having looked at all the clips and stuff that we've looked at today, I know the full interview won't be shown on ITV until 9 p.m. tonight, but Stacey, in light of all the clips that we've seen so far, has that changed the way that you view the royal family?
No. I don't know how I view the royal family, if I'm completely honest, and I always get nervous to say anything. But I'm just trying to look at it from a neutral perspective of somebody who was, you know, was thrust into this position. And I do feel that sometimes unfairly reported upon, sometimes fairly. But a lot of the time I would see things and just think, I don't know how I could wake up every day and read that about myself and read that about myself and then hear about my family saying certain things. I found the whole thing, no wonder they both wanted to just run away. That's how I see it. And yeah, regardless of what family they're a part of or not, I can only imagine why they wanted to just get away from it all.
And I think what's also quite sad for them leaving is especially the time that we're living in at the moment. We're in the middle of well, hopefully at some point comes the end of the pandemic, a pandemic which disproportionately affects ethnic minorities, Black and South Asians especially. So in terms of having somebody high up in the institution talking about the pandemic, talking about coronavirus, talking about taking the vaccine, for example, there would be no greater voice, in my opinion, to be able to talk about that people would listen to, would probably have been Meghan.
Yeah.
You wouldn't need any of the celebrities or the GPs or anyone sort of trying to talk about the safety element of the vaccine, to get people to believe in it and to get rid of the distrust. No, which she has done, but I think it's very different. It's very, very different, I think, to sort of have somebody high up to sort of talk about it in that way. And I think that's the biggest shame out of all of this, because there is so much mistrust where our institutions are concerned for minorities that I think Meghan would have made a big difference to that, especially at the moment.
I wish it had worked out, but, you know, she chose to leave, they chose to leave. I think Harry had been unhappy for a long time, and I think, you know, it's as much his decision as hers.
Well, yes, which I think a lot of people have forgotten today. There are two people in that relationship.